Suspense is killing me. You all right, Pike? Let's call to order the Parks Board meeting for Monday, February 26th. To order. If you bow your heads, please, for the opening prayer. Lord, thank you for being amongst us tonight, Lord. Now help us to make good decisions and be with us as we go through this meeting. In Christ's name we pray, amen. Pledge of Allegiance. What about you?
All right, certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Just reminding someone to say it.
All right. We have a presentation from Mr. Bowler. Looks like a good Baptist sitting in the back row.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let the record show that we have Mr. Randy Campbell here, who was a Parks Board member for a long time, but he left before I was the director, and we started giving out jackets and plaques. So maybe one day we'll bring you back up here. Mr. P.A. Bowler is here. He was on our Parks Board for a long, long time. The thing that I always respected about Mr. Bowler is he would tell me where he stood, and it may or may not have been something I agreed or disagreed with, but he had no problem saying that to me or sitting up there. He also was always willing to, always looking to recognize the student athletes in Sumner County and in Hendersonville particularly at the Parks Board and in other places. He served this board and served this city admirably for a very, very long time. I was sad to lose him. Not, you know, we have a great replacement for him, but Mr. Bowler was represented to me how a board member on a citizens committee should conduct themselves, and I always appreciated that. And we wanted to bring him back up here and give him this plaque that says, in grateful recognition to P.A. Bowler, thank you for your many years of service to the Hendersonville Parks Board, our park system, and to the entire city of Hendersonville. So, Mr. Bowler, it's good to see you.
Nice
Thank
to see
you.
you too.
And if you have anything you'd like to say, go ahead.
If you don't mind. First of all, it's fantastic to see you guys. One of the proudest associations that I had was with you guys. It's been said that you're judged by the company you keep, and you guys kept me respectable for a long time. Mr. Gilley here has the passion that he represents the city with. I haven't seen it before, and that I know you guys feel it as well. So I just it was a very proud association that I had with you guys, and I would like to thank Coach Plummer back here. Coach Plummer may be a better coach, and for trying so many years to beat him, which I actually never did. But thank you, bottom of my heart, thank you. And I've picked up pickleball.
I hope it fits.
Thank you, Ms. Bowler. I think you still owe me some money, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, no problem. All right, glance over the agenda. Are there any changes in the agenda, Mr. Gilley?
Not that I'm aware of.
I will entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Golden, second, Mr. Pike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? If you'd had a chance to look over the minutes for last meeting, unless there's questions, I'll entertain a motion to pass that. Ms. Hellman. And second is Mr. Golden. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Am I moving fast enough? Are there any citizens' comments, sir?
No, sir, there's none tonight.
Thank you, sir. Under old business, park project updates, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are currently working with the IT department to install security cameras at the Field 12 and 13 area at Drakes Creek Park. That project also is important because it's going to allow us to shoot point-to-point service to different buildings in the main quad area and at the current shop and the Civitan quad area, which is it's kind of a connectivity piece, which is very important. Mr. Jason Hollers that helps us at these meetings back there is integral part of that, and we thank him and Mr. Cook in the IT department for all they're doing on that project. With the turf soccer field, artificial turf is scheduled to be delivered March the 7th, and we anticipate having that field ready for play by the first part of April. The lights for the soccer complex have been delivered, and it will depend upon what gets done in the mid-year budget as to when we install the first field of rugby lights. So all that's going well. Either way, that whole project should be wrapped up by June, which is outstanding. We still are having ongoing repairs from the tornado. I believe they started roof repairs today in Drakes Creek Park. Continuing on the high school baseball field number 3, that is ongoing. We've got the dugouts rebuilt. Still waiting to finish the backstop and repair the turf. Maintenance shop update. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of my report as it relates to the mid-year budget update, which I'll give you. But we're continuing to work with the executive and the public works staff on some options and things for the maintenance shop for our guys there. The Live Barn, again, another IT partner project. Live Barn, you all approved. That's the live stream at the hockey rinks. That equipment has come in. We hope to have that service up and running by the start of hockey season in a couple of weeks. So doing the best we can to move as quick as we can on that one. And if anybody has any questions, I'll take them.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly. Under new business, Belmont Capstone Project at Mary's Magical Place. Sydney, I'm not going to butcher your last name, okay? If you'll come over here and push the red button, you'll be a star.
While she's coming up, Mr. Chairman, the flyer that I passed out to you all is part of her presentation. Just so you can have, I wanted you all to have a copy of that in front of you that she emailed me earlier today.
Indeed.
Thank you.
State your name, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Sydney Bocci. I'm a third-year Belmont Occupational Therapy student in their doctorate program. I'm completing my capstone project, which is focused on inclusive play. So I'm here to speak with you today to request your permission to collaborate with Mary's Magical Place. In the letter that Andy has distributed to all of you, it kind of explains my project. It's addressed to parents and caregivers, and it would be accessed as part of the survey that I'm requesting to post, not only at the physical location of the playground, but also on the website of Mary's Magical Place. So the premise of my project is to collect information regarding parent and caregiver perceptions, experiences, and attitudes towards inclusive play to determine if the playgrounds are adequately serving the communities in which they exist. There is a significant gap in research regarding this topic, which emphasizes the prevalence and importance of this project. So collaborating with Mary's Magical would help us collect some valuable data that may not only benefit Mary's Magical to help us make any improvements, if possible, to better serve the community, but also to better serve the communities of future inclusive playgrounds that will be built in and around the Nashville and Middle Tennessee area. So that's the premise of my project. I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have regarding the project and the collaboration that I'm seeking.
Discussion?
Yeah, the scope of your research, is it just Mary's Magical Place, or are you doing it to set several different inclusive playgrounds in the area?
I'm working with other playgrounds as well. So I'm also collaborating with Promise Park at the zoo, and I'm also working with Hensley Park in Dixon.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I would love when your research findings are available that you either present them to to the Parks Department, of course, or share them back with our board. I think it'd be fantastic to learn what you learn.
Yeah, and I have in my application for the IRB to share the data with Mary's Magical once the data collection has been completed and the data has been analyzed. So I'd be happy to share that and present that here as well.
I'd probably say the easiest thing to do is to put this on A-frames around the park, like the plastic A-frames. So do you have a budget for that, or we can make the recommendation that we get it printed to put around there? Andy? Well, I'm just saying, because I mean, a paper of this, a paper or a laminate of this is not going to, I mean, let's be real, especially in the spring with the weather. So the thought would be for it to actually get in front of families, it needs to be on A-frames. So are we gonna make her pay for the prints, or do we want to take care of that?
I think that would be probably something that would be included in the will of the Parks Board if we want to help her with that project.
Any more discussion?
So my suggestion would be then that we do that with the fact that she's going to turn in the data to us. So like we would take care of that. That'd be my suggestion, that we take care of getting these printed. In return, she presents us with the findings.
Ms. Ruther?
So how much are the A-frames? What are we looking at potential cost here off the top of your head?
$10 per print from Doodat Communications. So we'll do it on one side. So this printed on an A-frame of 2x4 essentially feet. It's $10 per print. So we probably get like 3 or 4 of them printed. So $40 total.
So not to go over 100.
Discussion? If there is no more discussion, do I hear a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve and also ask that we provide a budget not to exceed $100 to help out with the A-frames and the signage that Wade mentioned. I feel that data is important to what we're doing here, and it could be very helpful going forward in the city with other parks.
Have a motion. Mr. Golden, second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, ma'am. I would have said your
Thank
name
you.
right, though. I think.
I appreciate it. It's Italian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big bang softball, Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Ooh. You're on, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Was just presenting an application to hold a softball tournament on October the 26th at Drakes Creek Park. I will need 8 fields, and I was under the impression that you guys provide the concessions and the field striping. Other than that, I think I can handle everything else. There won't be any major vendors, and there won't be any need for any electrical apparatus or anything like that.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, what age group is this softball tournament here?
It will be 8U through high school. There will be 6 age divisions.
So it's co-ed?
No, it's girls softball, fast pitch softball.
Is it going to cause any sort of a scheduling conflict?
That is the weekend of our barbecue festival, and I believe Wade had discussed with Mr. Scott, we would probably only be able to give him one quad. So probably 6 fields, about the most we can tolerate that weekend with all the other commitments we have going on at that same time.
Is he partnered up with any civic group?
I believe he has, Wade can answer that.
Yeah, so this would go with Civitan. So Mr. Rodney reached out to us. This is a new group that's never held a tournament in our park before. So just like any new tournament director, that's why he's here tonight. Ideally, looking at the schedule, I mean, we have PigFest, obviously, but we wouldn't be able to do. My suggestion, conversations with Keith, is that we could accommodate 6 fields, but there's no way we could do a full complex. Not the same weekend as PigFest.
Any more Discussion? No more discussion. Do I have a,
Wait, I have one more question. He
Go
said
ahead.
something about Civitan providing concessions. It was his understanding. Is that correct?
Just run, they would have the concession stands open.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
okay, no more discussion. Do I hear a
Mr.
motion to
Chairman, can I
approve?
just, excuse me, sir, just clarification. On the application, it was showing a 6:30, you know, I'm sure he's getting there to set up, but just want to make sure for his scheduling purposes that he can get all the games he wants in with a 9 o'clock start, because we are pretty much set, we have set that pretty much in stone for our maintenance department to make sure they can get everything ready in the morning for that. So he would understand it would be a 9 o'clock start on 6 fields. If he's got to have 8, that's not going to work. I mean, that's something he may have to cut his number of teams down, which I think he could, or don't take his another division out, but just so we're up front that it's only 6 fields, and he's requesting 8. Yeah, that's what that'll be up clear before, you know, he starts taking applications and gets enough applications for 8 fields with that many teams, and then we only have 6. So the motion should say 6 fields, please.
Which quad are
Are
you?
you aware of
I
that,
can work
Mr.
with
Scott?
6 fields at a 9 o'clock start.
What do you say? He said he can work with 6. Okay, that's good, that's great.
We got it?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I can set up, 7:30 or so, correct?
Can you do set up at 7:30?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we don't start games before 9 o'clock in the morning. You can set up you can set up at 4 o'clock in the morning if you want to.
Well, you don't have to worry about that with me.
And, can I ask, what about the officials? Who's umpiring this thing, or you got some locals, or?
This will be Big Bang sanctioned umpires, and the UIC will be Alan Bean. Everyone should know him. He's been umpiring around here a long, long time.
Any more discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve 6 fields on that date.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Head for motion and Ms. Rathard second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Sumter Humane Society K-9 Classic, Mr. Campbell. Who is, state your name, sir, because I'm not sure we know who you are.
Randy Campbell. Actually, to set the record straight, Mr. Gilly, I did get an appreciation plaque the next year, and that was because of you. I appreciate that. It is displayed proudly in my home office.
But not we owe you a jacket, what you're saying.
I did not get the apparel, exactly. And as you can see, I love the apparel. Mr. Chairman, I'm here tonight just to ask for approval from the board to access the greenway at Drakes Creek Park for the K-9 Classic, which is a fundraiser, a first-year fundraiser for the Humane Society of Sumner County. We actually will be partnering with the Hendersonville Library and Shell Brothers, and our start and finish will be at that location on what I call the Hendersonville Greenway. I don't know exactly what it's called, but we will have our participants travel down the Greenway. We don't have to cross any roads. We'll go underneath Indian Lake Boulevard, but we will need to access the park, Drakes Creek Park at the bridge, and the railroad tracks on the backside of the soccer fields. This should really be, again, first year, we're expecting 100, maybe 300 participants, and it should be relatively simple. The only extra thing I don't think that I put on the application, I may ask for permission to put a couple of directional signs in the park, but of course we'll put those out that morning and pick them up immediately following. We're talking about a time frame of 8 to 9:30. I suspect everybody will be finished by 9:30.
And you said this is to benefit the Humane Society?
It is. You know, they've lost a couple fundraisers over the last couple of years, and we're hoping that this will become an annual event for them.
Couldn't be a better project. What do they need? Just basically,
Besides cash?
Supplies.
Well, they need a lot of, supplies. They have all that stuff listed on their website, so,
got it.
you know, if you if you have the time to go to their website, you can take a look at that. But, stuff for their pets, stuff for their employees.
Randy, that is a game day for the soccer league, the rec soccer league. Just want to make sure that won't be an issue for you
I don't
all.
think it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Randy, are they gonna go left over the bridge back towards the white line, or?
Well, I actually thought they would go right and then circle around to the left and come back to the bridge.
No concerns from you guys? It looks like there's a softball and a baseball tournament that weekend. Any concerns?
Is it cutting through the soccer fields or going all the way around field, baseball and softball fields 6 and 7?
Yes, that's the plan.
That could be an issue at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, because you're going to have, baseball and softball, like we said, we push them back to 9 o'clock starts. So is there any way to cut it and go back through the soccer?
Well,
instead of going?
yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of flexibility. This is not a timed and a chipped and a distance. It's really a fun participation event. It's really just, just to raise money.
Looking at the map, that's the cut through. The cut through right there is where the first soccer. It actually doesn't come into the baseball fields.
It's right there at the restrooms there.
Correct.
Right at the bridge in the
Because
creek.
there's your bottom right there. There's the cut through by Demos. So ideally, even if somebody's walking the slowest they are at a 20-minute pace, that from the start to that turnaround essentially is no longer than a mile and a half. They should be out of the park by 8:30. Even the slowest walker.
I can tell you exactly you're gonna start at the library, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you just get to the fence at that parking lot and back, that'll put you right at the 5K.
Then that's what we'll do.
Just done it 100 times.
Every weekend.
Bubba, are you talking about before the creek?
Right where the gate used to be for the parking lot, where there used to be the gate there, and you had to not crawl through, but run around to the left.
Oh,
But
yeah.
right there at where the fence starts at that back soccer field, I touch that and turn around, go back, and you're right at a 5K.
Yeah.
Just,
No, if you stay in the soccer.
It
yeah,
will not
should be-
affect baseball and
It wouldn't
softball.
affect baseball and softball at all.
Question, Mr. Henson. Just for Randy, so you're starting at the library, right? So most
Yes.
of the predominant, most of your parking is
Everything's
going
going
to
to be
there.
at the library, Shell Brothers, the office condos right next door, if needed, yeah.
I volunteer to stand at that turnaround, okay?
Oh, that's perfect. We'll need a couple volunteers.
volunteer to do that.
I'm going to put you down, Bubba.
I'll be there, I'll be.
You can be the pace guy. Again, this is mostly a walk. It's not a race. People will be out there with their dogs.
Mr. Gilly, we got this route down enough so that I could ask for a motion to approve,
Well,
sir?
hold on, I want to ask Andy.
I feel fine about it.
Okay.
Can I ask one question? Andy?
Yes.
Do we need to, if we're going to, like, I would assume that most everybody here wants all this money going to the Humane Society. Do we need to make it in our motion that we're waiving anything here so all that money can go to the Humane Society?
You can. We really don't have anything in our event application packet to rent the greenway, so to speak. He's basically here getting our permission to come in the park, so I think it'd be great to put in writing that the Parks Board approves this event with the understanding that the proceeds are going to the Humane Society.
Mr. Spike, you want to make that motion?
I make the motion that we approve this with the understanding that all the money goes back to Humane Society as a fundraiser
After expenses.
after expenses, yeah.
In a second, Mr. Montoya. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
All right, thank you.
Good to see you, Mr. Campbell.
Appreciate it.
United from Darkness to Light concert, Mr. Johnson, or Ms. Johnson, excuse me. God, I get in so much trouble doing that.
That happens to me at least twice a week, so. Good evening. My name is Jamie Johnson. I'm here with my friend, Mr. Russ Plummer, who I think is affectionately known better as Coach Plummer. We were here 11 months ago tonight. Well, I don't know if it was exactly 11 months ago, but it was close. We were here 11 months ago, and it happened to be the same day of the Covenant tragedy. And we were here on behalf of a group of friends who had it in our hearts to bring the community together in September of 2013 at Saunders Ferry Park. And the idea was to share how God had turned a tragedy from good that had sparked a revival. And the backdrop was going to be a Christian concert. And the point was to bring all the churches together, and it was going to be spearheaded by the foundation that was born from that tragedy. And you guys were all gracious enough to unanimously grant our request, so we set off on task. And over the next few months, we ran into some roadblocks over some confusion about whether the event would actually financially benefit the foundation, because it was supposed to be a free event. We were networking and trying to land a big artist and trying to figure out how we were going to pay for that, if it was going to be a free event. And we finally realized that the whole point of the event was getting lost. The focus was never supposed to be about any one artist or any one foundation or even any one church. So now, just as a group of citizens of Hendersonville, we're coming back to you asking for essentially the same opportunity. And that is to be given the chance to bring the churches together in Hendersonville and to bring Hendersonville together, to unite us as one. We'd like to do that on Saturday, September 14th, in the same Saunders Ferry Park. And we want it to be free to everybody. No tickets, no profit, no agenda, except, again, to unite the entire city in hope. The name of the event would be United from Darkness to Light, and the backdrop would be Christian music, which, as we all know, unifies all of us. And the hope is that would be sung by praise teams from churches, and in between, we would have pre-recorded stories of hope, not just one story, but a handful of stories of hope from people in this city that have overcome tragedy because of their faith and relationship in Jesus Christ. We would hope to have an MC with a few local pastors to give their best 5-minute hope-stirring message to keep the crowd going, and we would like to have planned and spontaneous baptisms. This will be a family and kid-friendly atmosphere with food trucks and jumpy houses. We know if you get the kids, you'll bring the adults. This would be a place for unbelievers to find hope that never fails, and for believers to be recharged. As you all know, we're living in a lot of darkness, and there's a lot of cheap cures for it. But even Toby Keith said just before he passed away that you have to have faith in order to have hope, and that faith comes from Jesus Christ. And without it, it's really hard to have any kind of hope. So the churches are coming together, and you can see from my overzeal that I wrote all over the application, all over the back of it. And the hope is to bring everybody together so we don't lose any more of us to suicide or addiction or anger or bitterness. So if the churches come together, and it will be based on their agreement to come together. So the first meeting we'll have, the next meeting will be with the churches. And it will be we will strategize it so that they understand, and it's very transparent, and they know that this is not about any one church. And if they will come together, then the next task will be to create a committee of 7 to 11, or how many is appropriate, from them to determine who the speakers will be and the music and the stories. And then the next step would be to create an LLC so that the entity that would serve as the entity to host it, and then we can secure liability insurance for the event. And then we will open a bank account in the name of that LLC, and that bank account will transparently hold all of the funds that will be donated or supplied. If there's anything that we need, and we have a whole list, thanks to Andy and Wade, that of everything that we would need for this event, from other events that we've done, so that anything the churches, a lot of the churches own a lot of these things that we might need, and then some of them have business people that are a part of the church that may want to donate things. So that account would be held for any funds that are needed for things that aren't donated or supplied or borrowed. So again, the idea is to have the churches come together, and that has to happen for this to be successful, but I am praying along with several others fervently that that will happen. The devil, as you know, is always organizing events, and there's no lack of them, and we feel like this is our time. So the first step would be if you all would grant us the opportunity to have that space on September 14th. It will be a day event, and that way we can start approaching the churches and tell them that we have met with you all and secured a date and a time.
I see you're expecting between 3 to 10,000.
Well,
Which
yes.
end of that are you on?
Well, I mean, honestly, the larger side is the hope, and it will really be determined, I think, in the next 60 days according to the churches, because if we get, 4 or 5 of the biggest churches in town, they have access to a lot of publicity for this. And if some of those guys are going to be speaking at this event, and we can have baptisms planned out there, then the hope would be to have a problem of there being a whole lot of people that want to show up for this. So that's what we're planning for. We're going to plan for the worst and then be ready if the event ends up being a little smaller.
That's rather.
Are there any conflicts, Andy, Wade?
I think he's checking on it.
Oh, but there is a conflict?
We were looking at the biggest part of the park, just so you guys know.
Wade or Andy,
Yes.
there is, we are good or we're not?
There's not a conflict at Sanders Ferry. We were making sure there wasn't, that day that is also the Spencer Bristol softball tournament over in the, in Drakes Creek, but that has nothing to do with this, so we should be fine.
All right.
Andy, you'd be the best to answer this. I'm thinking, with that many people, especially if it's on the upper end of that, what about the traffic flow coming out of there?
I would anticipate no more people at this event than we've had for other concerts at Sanders Ferry or for Sumner Fest or for the TSSAA State Cross Country or Beaches regular cross country. I think we'll be fine.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve. Second, Mr. Head. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And
You
I
have
don't want
beautiful
to.
penmanship.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I don't want to over ask or assume anything, but there is a $1,000 fee, and we were wondering if that could be waived.
I will include the waiving of the fee in my motion.
We probably need to make a second motion
Okay,
at
we
this
need to make
point.
a second motion.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a second motion that we waive the $1,000 rental fee. The
Okay.
rental fee?
I've got a
For this
second
event.
motion. Second, Mr. Head. Discussion?
One thing I need to.
Yes, sir.
What about the food trucks? Usually charge food trucks. Do we need to do anything with the food trucks if there are food trucks?
That's up to you all.
The plan is to have food trucks there.
Okay.
I would say then the suggestion, what we've done in the past, is that the food trucks make their contribution back to the organization. Usually it's 10% of gross sales back to the organization.
Have you made any sort of arrangement like that with the food trucks yet?
No.
Do you think they'd be willing?
I hope so.
Okay, then I will make a motion that we waive the $1,000 fee and ask that the food trucks be required to give back 10% to the event.
I have a third motion and a second by Mr. Head. I'll let the record show that we had two before this. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? You still have beautiful penmanship.
Thank you all very much.
And I'm not so sure that bringing Russ along with you helps your cause, really. I was kind of down on it when I saw it.
Thank you.
How you
very
doing,
much.
Russ? Okay, tree cremation usage. This salt. State your, oh, you're not through yet. Sorry. State your name and your purpose, ma'am.
My name is Renee Saltz. Thank you all for having me here tonight. My sister, Amanda Martinek, and I are residents of Hendersonville. Sadly, she passed away on Friday, February 16th. We are in the process of cremating her. So what I have come here to ask is if there's a place within the Hendersonville parks that we could bury her ashes in a living urn. And it would be, we would plant a tree on top of it. And so it's basically a biodegradable urn that grows a tree in combination with the ashes or the cremated remains. We would plant the tree with cremated ashes but into the bio urn. But there's a special mixture of stuff to help the ashes and the trees grow. So then we would obviously put the urn in the soil into the ground, plant the tree on top of that, and then fill it in. She was an avid dog lover and had hoped to someday open her own pet rescue center. So what we would like is to plant a tree in Memorial Park overlooking the dog park, where she would be peacefully surrounded by nature and the dogs that she loved. Her employer, Lowe's, has offered to donate a tree that we could plant. And we realize that certain trees grow better in this area, so I would appreciate help in determining which ones would grow better in that area. We'd also like to have some sort of memorial stone. I know we put this big old fancy bench around it. May or may not have that, but just something, indicating that it's a memorial dedicated to her. Any questions?
Questions?
Are there any
Perry?
protocols to actually putting this in the park or that we should know about, or?
I can safely say I don't think anyone has requested this in the past. They've probably done it without asking for permission, potentially. Maybe, I don't know.
That's why we're here tonight.
But
That's right.
I think, she asked for permission to do this, and by far, this is the best presentation of anyone that has asked to plant a bench or a tree or anything.
I will let my sister know.
Renee, thank you for coming up. I think it's an awesome idea, and if there's not any more questions, I'd like to make a motion we approve this.
Ms. Perry was first, Ms. Rathard second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? I don't think there's any ash patrol out there, so I think you're in good shape. Everything's good.
Ma'am, if you'll get with Trevor here before you leave.
Okay.
Y'all can connect, and he can
Okay.
help you pick out the spot and
Okay.
all that good stuff. Y'all want to get
Okay.
together real quick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Wish Cup, Mr. Collier.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Mr. Chairman, let me explain why Colby's here, probably be the best thing. Then he can answer any questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Colby, a couple years ago, maybe before 2020 even, started a tournament called the Wish Cup, where this board voted to waive all the fees and things for him to make a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This tournament has now grown into about, I don't know, Colby, how many teams? 200 teams?
We had 94, 95
100.
teams last year.
100
We're
teams.
expecting 120, 130-ish this year.
120, 130 teams. And it also has grown to over a 10-day period. Long story short, we felt like this, and it is in a new location in Volunteer Park. We got the new facility now. And I think Colby is very much likes that facility and is in agreement with giving some of the proceeds from his tournament, not only to Make-A-Wish, but also back to the local hockey group as they help us maintain that facility. So we anytime an event like changes the scope so much, we thought it would be prudent to bring it back to you all and have you approve his new application this year. So that's what's in your packet. And that reflects all of the dates that he needs and a $25 per team donation to the HIHA as well as a donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's a great tournament that he has. He's brought in people from all over the country. The exposure he's given to our facility and our city has been tremendous. and I appreciate him and what he's done for the sport in our city.
Have a motion to approve. Second, Mr. Golden. Boy, you didn't have to work at all, did you?
And Andy did all the heavy lifting there.
Anything else you want to say about it before we vote on it?
No, I appreciate everything that you guys do, the maintenance staff, the parks department, everybody is just phenomenal to work with. Everybody always raves about the facility, and we love hosting it there, and we're looking forward to the event this year.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Who was the motion in the second, sir?
Rather.
Thank you.
All righty, I have a first and a second. If there's no more discussion, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Well, that was an easy one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Lake Baptism Service, Mr. Smith.
It is the other person on the Zoom, yeah. Blake couldn't make it on there. Yep, there we go.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Shannon Benefield and Bruce Rayleigh.
State your case, sir.
We've turned in an application there for the lake baptisms there in Saunders Ferry Park.
Basically, this is, since I've been over the event stuff, we have not had something like this come before us, so we thought we'd still put them through the similar process since it being a little bit different from a special event perspective. So basically, they want to use the park for their baptism service. They've used Rockland Park for the last couple of years, but obviously that's not available this year. So they reached out to us about moving their event to Saunders Ferry Park. We might have something going on this summer, but this date seemed to work with our schedules and being able to host them at Saunders Ferry.
I have a vested interest in this since January the 12th of 1961. I was baptized right in that place down there. And there's a great little inlet kind of thing down there close to the shelter down there that's perfect to get in and out. So I'm all for it, but I don't have a vote. So y'all have any questions?
Is there a fee that would apply to this that we would potentially waive?
I would propose that the First Baptist Church has graciously donated their inflatables and their staff to events for us all throughout the last few years, which has probably saved us at the rate of about $2,500 an event to rent those inflatables. You know, there is a fee to rent the park, but with them continuing to do that and the partnership we've had with them, I think it would be a good gesture on our part to kind of offer this up.
Yeah, very well. So I'll make a motion to approve and that the fee, whatever it is, $1,000, that be waived.
Okay, have a first, second, Mr. Perry. Ms. Hellman, I'm gonna get to you, I swear to goodness. I don't remember. Any more discussion?
Just want to make sure, Mr. Benefield, I've talked to Blake a little bit about this. When Jake was over all your special events, I directly worked with him and Daniel Rogers on where the Kids Zone would be for our events. So that our request here is that we continue that partnership, and I think Blake is that contact, correct?
Absolutely. For now, that'd be fantastic. We'd love to continue to do that.
Okay, great.
Who's that feller behind you back there?
Mm-hmm.
The watchful eye.
Did we vote on that? Not yet. Okay, that's it. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Kind of got it lost there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Y'all.
All right, Cajun Steamer Crawfish Boil, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I told the two ladies that we've worked with on this that are from the Cajun Steamer that I would handle this application because it was kind of a combination of their idea and our idea. Just to give you all an idea, we are trying our best to try to save funds and work and fundraise to get an extra piece of equipment at Mary's Magical Place that's an updated wheelchair accessible piece of equipment. It's called a WeGo swing that the company that built Mary's Place has come up with. I think right now, after the BOMA handles the mid-year budget this year, I think we'll be up to a little over $30,000 saved up from donations and our barbecue festival and all those type things. So the Cajun Steamer folks have been wanting to figure out a way to do something in the community. And we got together with them and thought this would be something we could offer up to the community and help also raise money towards this cause. I will say that they also graciously donated food for our barbecue festival on the concert night. They've been a great partner. Also involved in this is the Evening Rotary Club, because as we often do, we need some way to easily take up money. It's not easy as a city to do that, and we need somebody reputable to help us with that. That will also help us have a built-in crowd. The plan will be for May the 4th to have a Cajun steamer crawfish boil. Hopefully there actually are crawfish. That's a little bit of an issue right now nationwide, but if not, we'll have plenty of shrimp. And we'll have a screen showing the Kentucky Derby, and we'll have some fun and games, and it'll be open to the community. People will be able to purchase a ticket, and it will be a fundraiser to go back towards Mary's Magical Place.
Got it. Questions? Comments?
The only thing, just so you're aware, they are wanting to serve alcoholic beverages. So we will provide all of that. Whenever we have a site map ready, we'll bring it back for approval here.
Do I hear a motion to approve? Ms. Head, second, Mr. Pike. Discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Gilly.
Thank you.
Special events application revision. Mr. Evans?
Yes, so the way we printed this, I know it may look a little confusing. The way we printed this is with track changes. So I don't mind sending this again later tonight or in the morning, where it's just the updated version. But basically, all of the edits in here were between our staff, where I just went through, honestly, and just cleaned up some of the verbiage. But also, the biggest thing for y'all to review is the pricing scale. After talking to other, not only neighboring Parks and Rec departments, but statewide, we were drastically under selling ourselves. And I'm not trying to raise, it's not just trying to raise money and revenue for us, it's just, we have so much wear and tear on our parks, it's time for the money to start equaling out. So we're trying to stay competitive with what that is, but as you go through here, you can see the pricing on the fields and tournaments. We're asking for your approval. Once it's approved here, it'll go to BOMA for their approval, just because of all the money, from a money perspective, how much the rentals will charge.
Anything Mr. Chairman, anything you see in this application that's red,
Yeah.
if it's crossed out, that means it was in there. That means the change is, the new verbiage beside it is to change it to that. We've tried, like Wade said, we really tried to clean it up and add to and take away where we needed to help our staff and help the community the best we could. We've added in there some flexibility for this board to request security presence to some events if needed. We've updated the fee structure. And your motion tonight would be to recommend or not recommend to BOMA to accept these changes, because this will go from here to Public Works Committee, then on to BOMA. And our recommendation would be that these changes take place beginning August 1st. We don't want to come in here and have to make these impact events that have already started taking signups for this summer.
I will say that in my experience, I have never seen the staff raise any prices just for the fun of it. I understand everything's going up. Everything costs more, and we have to stay current with what everybody else is doing. So.
Well, not only that, I mean, we've been kind of charged as a department to evaluate all the fees. We've done that with shelters recently. Every department has done that. I think we're at this point, just about every department has, from planning to codes to whoever, has maxed out what we can charge for things. to certain degrees. I mean, we're trying every which way possible to generate, I mean, the revenue from this goes in the general fund. It doesn't even go back in the park. I mean, indirectly, it all goes back, but I think all departments and the mayor and Jesse and the finance people are trying everything we can do to show that we are trying to max out our ability to generate revenue without having to do other not as fun things.
I would just call this good management, really, to be honest, needs to be done.
Well, it needs to be evaluated every few years, and it's been 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years on some of these.
Exactly.
So speaking of the evaluation, one of the questions I had was about the insurance coverage limits at $1 million. Have we investigated whether that needs to potentially go up? If there was property damage for one of these events, for example, would those damages or a claim potentially be more than $1 million? Do we need?
That's pretty standard in terms of what our city insurance provider requires people to carry. I mean, if a huge event came in here and you all wanted to require more, you probably could make that part of your motion to approve an event. I don't, if we did the whole thing, covered it all in there in this application, we could hurt some really smaller people from having to be able to afford an event.
Ms. Rather?
That answered part of my question. When you did your research or whatever, I'm assuming we didn't max out. We're not the priciest. We're just competitive. I didn't want to assume that.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
It's very comparable to not only our surrounding Parks and Rec departments, but we just we had to raise it a little bit incrementally, but not just like, hey, here's triple the price you've been used to paying. So we especially this first time around, we didn't want to go that drastic.
And we have so many unique situations where people are wanting to have an event and just not even rent a facility, they're just an open space or.
Oh, Sarah Chevrolet texted me what they called me on Friday, wanted to just rent one field for a kickball tournament for their staff. It's like,
I don't know what goes on all the time in other cities, but I go to enough places and talk with people where I know they don't have a lot of things we have go on.
Yeah.
For better or worse. Most of the time, I think it's for better.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Rather, second, Mr. Head. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Well done, Mr. Gilly. Okay, for your information, read those things. If there's any questions, we have the appropriate people here to ask of them. If not,
Yeah, but Mr. Chairman.
yes, sir.
The one thing there about the annual report, the hockey was not here last month, and he is here this month to clarify all that and answer any questions you all may have concerning the hockey league.
All righty.
So if we can hear him, so he didn't have to come back next month.
All right.
Thank
State
you.
your name, sir.
Michael Yarger, I am the treasurer of HIHA, was formerly the treasurer, was removed from the board voluntarily by me, and the guy that was going to take my place can't do it, so I have all the financial stuff, so I'm back on the board, so here I am.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your
Well,
time.
that was tough. Man. I see the one discipline thing. I hate that, but things happen. All right, staff reports. Recreation, Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you. My Raptors basketball season just ended. We had 40 participants. We had our season-ending party on Saturday. It was a great season. We had more consistency this season than in most, with everybody showing up all the time. Thanks to Dr. Mann for the use of Winton Elementary, and thanks to all those parents who stepped up and volunteered to help each week. Raptors baseball registration should begin on March 4th. Season will run April to mid-May, and then again will be on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. And then Raptors kickball will follow from mid-May to the end of June. Special Needs Easter Egg Hunt is coming up on Tuesday, March 26th. Registration should be open ASAP. This will be held at Mary's Magical Playground, and this is a reminder that it will be closed that day from 2:30 to 6:30. There are 3 sessions. There's a 3:30 session, a 4:30 session, and a 5:30 session, and we take 30 participants in each session. So everybody needs to get registered as early as possible, and once each session is full, it will be closed. Kids Club Special Needs Summer Program, it will run from June 10th to July 19th, 8:30 to 1:30 at Whitten Elementary. Pre-registration for those who attended last year's April 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then Monday, April 22nd, will be open registration for any open spots that we have. The participants bring their own lunch and drinks daily. We do take field trips weekly, and that's an extra cost for those. They can find more information on the website. And then I'll be sending out soon to see which of my workers will be returning to that program. And I'm sure we'll be looking to hire for the summer program. So if anybody's interested, they can reach out to me through the Parks Department. Usually I take applications in April and start interviewing for those positions. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Recreation, Mr. Fugate.
Congrats to our gold champions, Ferda, and congrats to our silver champions, the Bricklayers in the high school basketball league. The men's open league basketball has their championship this Wednesday, so good luck to both teams. Kickball and softball registration ends this Friday. Softball currently has 1 team in the A division and 5 teams in the B division. Kickball is currently sitting at 4 teams. Pickleball registration will be ending on the 11th. We are offering 5 leagues, which are men's competitive and men's rec, women's competitive and women's rec, and co-ed. Men's rec has 4 teams, women's rec has 1 team, co-ed has 1 team, and both men and women's competitive have 0 teams. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we'll see those numbers increase. Upcoming sports in March, summer men's basketball and summer 5U and 6U baseball registration will start on the 25th. And that is it.
Questions? Sweet. Thank you, Mr. Fugate. Special events, Mr. Evans.
Woohoo. A couple quick things. One, thank you guys for coming out to the concert at the end of January. Raised over $130,000 at that event. So it was a good night. I hope we never have to do 20 artists on a bill again. So good learning experience for us. We did start our softball tournaments this past weekend. Obviously, HHS got theirs rained out, but Beaches went successfully this weekend, and Station Camp will have their play day this weekend. So we're off and running. I mean, we have a tournament every weekend from now, softball or baseball, now through the end of August. So Jimmy's really excited. Jimmy's Lemonade's, ready to rock. As far as basketball goes, I'll speak about the gym supervisor's perspective. Just from the scale of things, we had 850 gym dates. What I mean by that is 850 line items, where that means that's how many times we were in gyms in the last couple months. So, Monday night we could be in 12 gyms. We only had to cancel 4 practices because of gym supervisors not being available or not showing up. So I think that's one, I'm excited about that. But 2, with the canceled, we had essentially an 8-day span where we didn't play or practice or anything. So, but you should see the amount of messages between Keith, Dallas, and I trying to figure out. By the time Keith makes a schedule and Dallas sends it to the school, and then I put staff on there, we've already been kicked out of 2 schools, and then we have to restart. So logistically, it's a lot of moving pieces, but we got through it. We're done, barring Wednesday. So Nerf Night will be April 18th. Wall of Fame update. We'll send an update about everything for the end of the month, end of March. But nominations, when they end on Thursday, I will compile all of them and send them to all of you. So just for your review. So everybody will get all of those when I compile those. We compile them as a staff on Thursday. Last but not least, we are going to hopefully have our June summer concert. We don't have a date yet, but we're still on board for that. And then I've been recently added to the arts board for the city. So I'm going to talk about the Arts Fest. It's going to be at Saunders Ferry Park on Mother's Day weekend. So first time we've had an arts festival. So you said lots of unique things. Here we go. So.
All right. Questions? Thank you, Mr. Evans. Park Management, Mr. Cole.
A few project updates that we've got going on. If you've been in the park around the quad, around fields 2, 3, and 4, you've probably noticed a lot of the bushes have came out and some new sods gone down. That's been much needed for a long time. So we were working on that all last week. Around the playground over there that just got put back in, we remulched that playground, put a little bit of sod around there. So hopefully that will take off and be nice and not a mud pit like it's been. We're working on lights right now on athletic fields, so you'll probably see, the bucket trucks in there. We've tried to do it the past few weeks, but the weather's got us, so we're just kind of going as we can on those, and we're looking at some changes, hopefully, to the volleyball lights, maybe getting those back up and running and seeing what we can do with those. And then Andy kind of touched on it earlier. We got the new roofs. They're supposed to start tomorrow, but I'm not real sure with the wind that's supposed to be coming that they're going to be able to work. So the material's there. It's just whenever the weather allows us to get it done. So that's about all we have for maintenance right now.
Thank you, Mr. Cole.
Hey. So I got a call today. Did you get a phone call from Jackie?
About the caution tape?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had no idea about it, but I told them to take it down. I figured that's what it was for. They were getting ready to start in the morning on those.
So, I mean, technically, I believe they're open tomorrow night.
Okay.
So is that going to be an issue, or do we need to do something with the roofing going on?
I don't think it'll be an issue, but I can look at the schedule and see. We may put that, because we have 3 roofs to do, so I'll look at the schedule and see what day it needs to be on so that it doesn't impact that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Assistant Director, Mr. Long.
Thank you. We're officially in full swing for spring sports. Middle school soccer started their season with games tonight. Rec soccer will begin games this weekend. They have 128 teams. And I know the city of White House had to cancel their rec season for soccer, so I think that has impacted some other cities around us and getting some more players. So good luck to them this year. Tennessee United kicked off soccer this past weekend. We had 114 games out in the very first weekend. Even with all the rain we got last week, we just had 2 fields that we had to cancel. Lacrosse began their season this past weekend with their first game as well, and then they'll have games Tuesday and Thursday at home as well at Memorial Park. And then rugby season has started. Next weekend will be like the first official games for our rec club, and that'll be also the first weekend the concession stand will be open. So stop by there and check out Jimmy's new grill and air fryer and get some of his food. And then lastly, basketball's ended. Just want to thank all the schools. It's a lot of work. We deal with a lot of principals and athletic directors all year, and what we do would not be possible without their support and help. So just want to thank all the schools again for everything they do for us. Thank you.
Hey, Dallas. So what is the time frame in rugby on the 9th? Because you sent me a schedule with no times.
Yeah, Brian will have to send us that. So we'll follow up with him early next week on that.
One question. Thank you, Mr. Long. Assistant Director, Mr. Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As been mentioned before, youth basketball finished up Saturday. We had 23 finals. It was championship Saturday. It was a really good year. Civitan, I'd like to really thank Jacob and Marissa Witt. They are the league directors for that program, and about 140 teams. We played about 800 games this year in basketball, and that's not including the 100 we had to make up between the snow and the tornado. So really, we played between the reschedule and everything, about 900 games. So they did a great job running that. Fast pitch middle school, everything in the spring sports on the dirt fields have started. The middle school fast pitch league has already played 2 weeks and had 2 rainouts. I got to play a couple other nights. Middle school baseball is going to start Friday. Civitan baseball, they're up and running. Quite a few practices already for 2 weeks. The fast pitch league is doing evals this weekend, and we'll probably start them the week after. And the hockey draft was last week, and they're starting practices this week. And then the high school sports, the baseball and softball, Hendersonville and Beach, they've been going since February the 12th. Beach had their middle school tournament this past weekend, and with a little luck and a lot of work from the maintenance guys, got to play on 5 fields and got that in Friday and Saturday. Maintenance guys did a real good job after the pour down rain out we had for like 6 hours Thursday night. So did a real good job on that end of it. And then this weekend is Station Camp. They're going to have like 7 or 8 fields for this Saturday play day. And then the following Saturday is Beach's play day, high school play day. So we are pretty much going 7 days a week now through November. Thank you, sir.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Director, Ms. Skillen?
Thank you, sir. To something Trevor mentioned about the lights, in case you all see them on during the day, that's probably what we're doing, is working on the lights. In case any of your people, your friends call and say, why are they wasting money having the lights on during the day? We're probably changing lights or checking lights or working on something. Occasionally, we let one slip, but not very often that one stays on that's not supposed to be on. Also want to congratulate Miss Hamlin and her cheerleading team that she coaches at Station Camp. They had a great showing at the Nationals. The work she does with those girls, along with her work here and other work that she does, I don't know how she does all she does, but I just want to say congratulations to her for that. As several of these folks have mentioned, we definitely owe a debt of gratitude to the schools that we work with. We don't have a community center. We've got schools that we play basketball in and do other programs in. So for them to open up and be willing to work with us, and what that whole league is amazing the way it comes together. So thank you to the schools for helping us. We obviously, as you all have just heard, you just heard the word middle school sport mentioned about 5 times. We obviously help the schools do things that they couldn't do in our parks. So it's definitely a two-way street and a great relationship. Update on AEDs throughout the parks. We were lucky enough to be the recipient of a grant from the NYCS where we got a free AED machine that's going to be placed in the park. We've also ordered a second one recently, and so we got rugby covered, and we will now have AEDs at both restrooms in Sanders Ferry Park. So we're moving closer and closer to getting, we were on a call today for an hour. I think Trevor and I were on a call about AEDs throughout the city. We're trying to work with the fire department and our central services director and our COO to try to explain the importance of the entire city perhaps being on a program where we have them evaluated and checked and batteries replaced and staying up to date with current machinery. I think that's very, very important. And the recommendation there was that you need to be able to get to an AED and back to a patient within 3 minutes. So we're trying the best we can to hit every location that we can in our parks to make that something that can happen. So we've got a ways to go, but we're really, really working on that. To that end, Ms. Rathert sent an email today about the dog park. That was a great help to us because it might have helped us catch some things that we wouldn't have caught for a day or two or even longer. If you all are out in the park, please, as you're going into the park, just think, what would I be looking for if I was just driving in here and I never saw anything? If a sign's bent or something's dirty or there's a hole or whatever, your help is appreciated. Same for the public. It doesn't hurt my feelings to get an email that says, hey, there was a hole over here that needs to be filled. We have to do those things. So I appreciate all the help with that. This entire staff is amazing. I don't interject myself unless I have to a lot of times, but I am on all the group emails and all the group texts. And Saturday morning during basketball, we all hold our breath till about 10 o'clock to make sure everything started, and then we hold our breath again till about 8 to make sure nobody's got ejected or something crazy has happened. But they do a great job, and they really, really work hard for all the people in our city to have things to enjoy throughout the park, and I appreciate that. The last thing I want to talk about, this is not something you all are required to vote on, but I want to give you a heads up what's coming up. or what's being proposed in the mid-year budget review of the city that it pertains to parks. So just a few highlights to let you all know what is being proposed currently. In case you hear about it, you may not care, but at least you can say you were informed. There will be line items that appropriate some donations that have been made. So, for example, Pig Fest, $20,000 has been written to the city 3 months ago, but we have to vote to appropriate the funds to Mary's Magical Place. So you see that in a mid-year budget, an appropriation. Another 19 or 20,000 from the concert that Wade mentioned is coming back to the parks to help us with the expenses that that we didn't have in insurance. The roofs we talked about, only half of those were covered by insurance. So we needed another 10 to 12,000 just for roofs. When it blows all the mulch out of a playground, they don't cover that. You'd be surprised what insurance will fight you on and not cover. Could go on for an hour about that, but I will not do that. Also, there is in the mid-year budget at this point a proposal to put $45,000 towards getting a set of plans drawn for a new maintenance shop. That doesn't build a shop, but hopefully that'll get plans drawn where in the FY25 budget, I can request to actually have the funds to build the actual said shop. Also, there is a request. We had a great community member for the second year in a row donate $25,000 to the Parks Department. Combine that with some in-house work that we've been able to do from all of these insurance claims, and we have about 75 or so thousand that we've asked to be appropriated for temporary maintenance operations until we get this shop built, which would give our mechanic a home, and it would give us a temporary break room, training room, that all of our maintenance staff can be under one roof again until we get a new shop built. I say that to say that's important because of the work that they've been able to do in-house and some things we've been able to save and a donation from the community. That $75,000 temporary would not be coming from the general fund. It's not like we were robbing money to go to something else. That's currently in the budget. I'm not saying it's going to pass. BOMA has to vote that. But I do think it's very important that we get our mechanic a home until we get a new shop built and get these guys under one roof. Also in here, the mid-year budget leaves money in there for us to potentially build our own pickleball courts, probably maybe beside Mary's Magical Place in the place where the old inline rinks were. That could be a temporary location, or that may be where it is permanently. I don't know what we're going to do, but the funds will be in there to do that, hopefully after the budget is approved late in March. That's pretty much the highlights. If anybody has any questions or needs anything asked about that, just fire away. I'll do the best I can to answer it. You know, in years past, we've had to come in the mid-year and ask for extra money to buy toilet paper because supply costs have gone up, or extra money for gas. We're not really doing that this year. We feel like we're in a good spot overall with our operations budget and these items, but most of them are donations from the community that need to be appropriated and taking care of our maintenance guys. So that's it. Any questions?
I have a question. On the maintenance guys, how soon?
Turn your mic.
For the maintenance, if we had the money, like how soon could we get them housed? That's just been really on my mind, trying to get all those guys a safe place to work.
If that's approved in the mid-year budget, Trevor, I think we can get them taken care of in a month.
Oh, wow, okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say 1st of May.
Well, they need it.
Yeah, they need space.
Any other questions? Round table, Ms. Ted?
I just want to say I see a ton of people on the new Saunders Ferry Greenway every day. I think I counted just driving there the other day, 150 people from Mallard Point to the end of the road walking.
Thank you. Ms. Montoya?
Nothing to add tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pike? Mr. Perry? Mr. Golden? Ms. Hellman? You hadn't said anything. Ms. Rutherford?
Yeah, just to touch on what Andy said, I happened to be at the dog park today, and through a series of events,
the people there with their pets had pointed out some issues, and I said, well, I texted Andy, emailed him, and then a few minutes later, he had already replied, and all of those people were just so impressed. They were like, wait, you've already got an answer? It's on the list, so kudos, Andy. Thank you for answering so quickly.
Mr. Peterson?
Thank you. Yeah, I was able to try out the new Greenway yesterday. It is incredible, very nice, and it was crowded. Of course, it was a nice day, but it was good to see kids and strollers and parents and bicycles, and it's just a really good new shining star to add to the park. So glad to have that part of it. And Wade, thank you for revising the fees. It's important that we have money to keep the lights on, so to speak. The city's very expensive to run, but I do appreciate y'all making motions to waive fees for some of these special events. I think that's very good on your part to do that. We have so many great events coming to the city, and I appreciate your staff taking advantage and allowing all of these, fitting them in somehow. Keith, you said you're doing 7 days a week till November?
There'll be activities at the park, multiple activities at the park now through November, yes.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, so there'll be something going on.
I appreciate everything y'all do. I'm going to even ask the mayor to pay y'all.
Oh, good.
So anyway, again, staff, thank you so much. Board, I appreciate it. Thank you, Chairman.
I recently found out that there are now 3 people that actually watch this every month, and
Is one my mom?
I don't, your mom, and I don't think Ms. Rather would mind me sharing this. There's a 15-year-old special needs child that has come up missing. We need to keep that not only the whole family and the whole neighborhood. When we talk about families like that, we talk about mom and dad. Well, there's extended families that are worried to death right now. So I think we need to keep them in our prayers.
Mr. Chairman, that young man's stepfather was a judge at our barbecue festival.
Say that again, I'm
That
sorry.
young man's stepfather was a judge at our barbecue festival. They're a good family in our community.
I'll be done. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Mr. Pike is always first. Ms. Hellman second. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no, we ain't going. Nobody beats opposed.